Hello everyone, this is Lori from Grammy's Keepsakes, and today we're going to go ahead and sew our signatures into our journal, and I'm going to attempt to sew the signatures in all the way through, but running my stitches underneath my doily like I did for the last one. So bear with me. Let's see if we can make this work. So what I'm going to do first is some measuring. And this journal cover is 12.5 inches wide, 2 signatures. So what I want to do is measure 6 inches in from each side, and I'm going to use tailor's chalk. And I'm just going to go across the journal next to the ruler so I get a faint blue line, and I want to do it on the other side as well. And you don't have to do it this way, but it's all in the details for me, and that's what I like to do. And in order for me to get removable lines, I find that the tailor's chalk wheel works nice. And I did try to make them kind of dark so you can see them. And I cut a piece of graph paper that's 8.5 inches tall because my journal signatures are 8.5 inches tall. I just folded this in half. I folded it in half again, and then I just measured down 3/4 from each side, and then I folded it to match and folded that, so I'm going to get my lines all lined up. So now we can go ahead, and I'm just going to punch the holes in my intersections. And they don't need to be big. I like them to be as little as possible so that I don't get my journal offset or my signatures offset. I'm going to put my punching phone book in, and I'm going to line up along that line, centering from top to bottom. And now I'm going to go ahead and punch on that line, matching where I punched through the paper. And punching through the craft text, the canvas, and that napkin, and the doilies if they're there. Okay, so I have that one. This is the back side, and I can see them quite well here. And now I try to want to remove my chalk line on that side as much as I can. And I'm just using this stiff brush. I'm protecting my other chalk line. I don't want anything to happen to that one yet. And it is just chalk, so it will just come off, and we're going to cover it. And I sewed my tabs onto my journal signatures already, and I did some other stitching in them. So I want to work from the back one first, and with my top, let's go ahead and line that up, clip it in, and punch through. And remove my paper pattern, save that, and I'm going to go ahead with a healthy 3 lengths of waxed cording. And so I'm cutting it longer, and because of the process I'm using, it just makes it easier for me, and it's just a few inches of waxed thread. The stress isn't worth saving the thread, I figure. So I'm going to go ahead and just go through the center and the center here, and move the threads. Here, let's get rid of the phone book. We don't need that till later. And go ahead and pull her through. And I'm going to grab another clip. That's going to help me hold it. And now what I want to do, I'm going to go down. So what I'm going to do is put my awl through that next hole so I can see it. And that's where I'm going. Hopefully you can see where the awl is. Right there. So I'm going to go back underneath the doilies. And just thread it the best you can. It's not going to be that big a deal if it doesn't work. And I've got a pair of pliers that'll help pull that through. And there's the hole. Trying to find this on camera too is going to be a bit of a challenge, and I lost it. So let me poke it through again. Got it. Can feel it. Okay. So now you can't see my stitch. That's what I was after. But I have to put it into my signature. That's where this clip really comes in handy, so I don't pull it through. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom. And now I have to go back up where I went down before. So just putting my needle underneath my crochet. And it's not far enough, but I can take baby steps to make it a little bit easier for me to work with. So let me find it again. Where am I headed? Right there. So now I know where I'm going. And fold it and coax it and do what you have to do to get it as close as you can. I'm going to remove that. And poke the hole again. Got it. Go ahead and pull that through and then into my signatures. I put a vellum pocket on the inside here so I could store more things without taking away from that beautiful artwork. Now what I'm going to do is tighten up my stitches, and then I can see where it looks like I pierced one little thread, so let's take that out. Rethread the needle. And go up here to the top. And it looks like I lost my clip. It's here somewhere. I need that. Okay, now I want to go through the journal. Whoops, I'm going to need this. Keep that nice and taut. Now where is the top hole? Let's go ahead and pierce that again so we can see it on the other side. So now I know where I'm going. Take a small stitch underneath that brown doily. Found the hole. Had to just kind of feel around a little bit blindly, but it worked. And through the signature. Pulling it all taut. Let's go back down. And we're heading for the middle. And I believe it's right there, so I'm just going to take some baby stitches. Okay. Oops, it gave that a little fold. Let's see if I can put it back. Grab a paper clip so I don't do that again. Let's paper clip the other side too. There. I'm going to remove this because it's not going to go anywhere now. But I have to find out where my hole is on the lace. And so let's go ahead and punch back through that same hole. And there it is. I'm really super close to it. So I'm going to it went right through. Awesome. Okay. And now I want to go through the signatures. Okay. I may have pierced that other cord. So I want to get that out of there. If you pierce the cord, you cannot get your stitches tight. Got it. Don't need that needle anymore. Let's get it out of the way. And how does it look? And let's check our outside. We can't see our stitches at all. Wonderful. It's nice and tight. I do need one on each side of that runner cord. And let's go ahead and tie it. And I clip the extra. Let's go ahead and fold it. I did stitch this on. And I stitched all the way around, so I got the tab and the vellum pockets. And I'm just grabbing every couple of pages and giving them a crease. And now we're ready for this line. So we've already got our chalk line. We need that phone book back because we're going to be punching. And I want to line it up on the chalk, but also on with the signature. So grab a clip, make sure that works. And let's punch on that line and at each of my little intersections right through the phone book. We can remove this. We're going to need it for the inside of our signature. And I'm going to go ahead and try to brush off some of my chalk line. The chalk wheel is easier to brush off that loose chalk than it is to brush off a marking pencil. Unless you have the kind that is invisible, that works well too. It fades after an hour or so. So now we have our signature. Make sure I got right sides up. The tabs are up. My insert is top up. And let's go ahead and punch. And get some cord. Cut it a little long again. So now we have to find our hole down here. So let's use the pokey tool again. And you definitely don't need to go to all the trouble I am. You can, you know, if you don't mind the stitches over the top of your doily, you know, that's just fine too. I just like to have it more discreet. And I want the new owner to be able to treasure that as well. But you do what's good for you. So it's kind of like a little hidden spine, isn't it? A stretch of the word. Definitely not a hollow back, with it being a soft cover. So now I'm ready to go through the craft text. And through the signature. So far, so good. I'm going to clip my sides. And now I'm going to go all the way down. And that lace is hiding the hole, isn't it? There it is. So where am I headed again? Let's go ahead and poke this through that hole. It's right there. So I'm going to thread it through. one of the benefits of not having all these layers glued down is I can run my needle underneath the stitches or the layers of the doily. Thread got caught on the corner. Let's remove that. Go back up through the signature. And down to that top part. Okay, let's find out where I'm going. Okay, I'm going to go underneath that doily, and there's the hole. Okay. See, we're pretty loose because that's where we've been working, but let's go ahead and tighten some of this up. So from the center, we went to the bottom, so that's this cord. And then this went down and back up here, so that's this long runner. And then we went down and back up here. Checking our outside. Can't even tell. There's a little tiny piece of cording there, but it matches, it works, and it's underneath the doilies. Let's check the outside. Yes. Okay, let's go ahead and poke through the next hole. We're almost done sewing these in. Go in there. Can't quite see. Okay, now we're headed to the middle, but we're going to use a little helper again to find it. And we don't want to be punching new holes. We want to go in the existing, and there it is. Everything's getting bumped off the shelf. Just taking little stitches. Okay, so now I'm ready to go down through the craft text. And through the signature. Let's get rid of that clip. Hold the cord down. Okay. Okay, I have one string on each side of the cord, and it's taut. Looks good on this side. Looks good on this side. Yep. Before we tie it, we want to make sure to see if we need to go through and make any repairs. Let's go ahead and tie that in a double knot. And cut off the extra. And let's fold it. So I believe we have 96 pages in our little journal. And here's our strings. And now I'm ready to stuff it and fill it up and do a final flip through. So I want to thank you very much for joining me, and I had fun. Have a creative day.